China, the evil communist country that has spent decades looking for any weakness in the status quo to become the world's superpower. China has been preparing its next generation of kids for the future through technology utilizing the full potential of all things internet and instilling, promoting, and indoctrinating its kids to love China and be proud to be Chinese. They have ramped up their military education by using military camps and school curriculum to teach children to see the world as their enemy, specifically America. Hold on a second, y'all. This is the wrong footage y'all putting on here, right? This has to be wrong. Can we redo this? Just put the right footage on, okay? It's hard finding good Chinese labor. China, the evil communist country, has spent decades looking for any weakness in the status quo to become the world's superpower. China has been preparing its next generation of kids for the future through technology utilizing the full potential of all things internet and instilling, promoting, and indoctrinating its kids to love China and be proud to be Chinese. They have ramped up their military education by using military camps and school curriculum to teach children to see the world as their enemy, specifically America. China has been preparing to come off of the US currency and took advantage of an opportunity and weakness they have identified in the United States: our greed. That's right, besides the no big deal currency drama and the known fact that this TikTok app that has blown up with the young youth in America that has diligently been promoting stupidity, debauchery, and degeneracy while the Chinese version pushes education and pro-Chinese content, we've sat on the sidelines allowing us to get owned by China. They have found a loophole to get Americans to leech onto something that is slowly killing our generation's common sense. When you have enough stupid people, the easier it is for another country to take over through outsmarting the enemy. And that is exactly what they have done. Not only tackling us on the education front, they are also buying up property in America, specifically near military bases, like this report from 2001 showing a Chinese company that bought miles of land near Grand Forks, North Dakota Air Force Base. They also have been buying agriculture in America around 3% so far. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot. It's at around 40 million acres, but the fact that the so-called enemy can come to America and buy land and have corporate interests in companies such as the revelation that 80% of the Chinese-owned land is held by Smithfield Foods and a billionaire named Sun Quangjin through Brazos Highland Properties LP and Harvest Texas LLC. You see, Sun used the companies to buy more than 100,000 acres in Texas for wind farm.
You know, the thing makes it so... And of course, it's like a graveyard for birds.
But the project was ultimately halted by the state law designed to prevent foreigners from accessing the Texas grid. This is just one out of many cases. Now, do you see the dilemma here? Do you think that China will allow American investors to come to China and buy land and build? Let me rephrase this, okay? Do you think China would allow its enemy to buy land in their country? No, because China, although somewhat capitalistic, draw the line of allowing the enemy to prosper by selling parts of their land. According to the Chinese property law, foreigners cannot buy land in China as land belongs to the state. But they will welcome dummies to build factories in China, employ Chinese workers, and steal their technology and ideas for their own third-party sources. But America is blinded by greed to the point that they allow this to continue to happen, hence the flaw in the system that Chinese people have exploited. And when I say Chinese people, I mean China, the government, China, the state, okay? Just want to make sure I don't get canceled, okay? Asian lives matter. They do. You see, recently a report came out showing that China has been influencing our education system as well. China's financial involvement in America's public school has come to light, raising concerns about the potential influence and impact. A report by Parents Defending Education, aka PDE, reveals that China has funded US schools with $17 million, primarily through the establishment of Confucius classrooms. This revelation has prompted Republicans to investigate these donations and demand actions to safeguard national security and education integrity. And if you're wondering what Confucius is, it's not actually the right word. I said it wrong. But if you're curious on how you actually say it, well, this is how you say it, and this is what it means. Confucius, 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 Confucius. So this school collaboration spans over 143 school districts across 34 states and Washington, D.C. Additionally, active contracts still exist in states like Texas, Kentucky, Minnesota, Oklahoma, and Oregon, as well as Washington. See, a lot of these programs have been implemented through the language programs, potentially raising concerns about the Chinese influence on the educational content. Who would have thought? They've gone as far as to extend to school districts near 20 U.S. military bases and 3 top science and technology high schools, suggesting a possible infiltration into the strategic areas of education. No shit. So what does this tell you? I know. What does this tell you? What's the purpose of this video? Well, the whole purpose is that even our children are made by China. And if it's not China, we will sell them to any billionaire or millionaire like Bill Gates. You see, did you know that the Bill Gates Foundation has invested billions into the American public school education system, as well as had a significant influence in our education policies? Don't believe me? Here, look, let's check this out. Gates supported the development of the Common Core state standards. You know, the thing that you hate doing with your children, aiming to standardize education across the state. With $233 million from the Gates Foundation, Common Core was rapidly adopted in 45 states, leading to concerns about the data privacy and a lack of public debate. See, this whole Common Core standards, while also somewhat difficult for us old school boomers, if you want to call us that now, it's really weird, I'm old, but they don't do math the same way. They do it in this weird way, and it's quite frustrating. But most importantly, these test scores follow your kids like bad credit. So if your kid doesn't do well, it's going to start following them. And that information is used for data points to be able to identify whether or not your child will succeed in life or not. It's quite creepy when you go down that rabbit hole. Gates was also involved in introducing teachers' evaluation system based on standardized tests, with the aim to reward effective teachers. However, this effort resulted in unintended consequences, such as increased inequality between schools and the departure of low-rated teachers. Despite these failures, Gates continued to pursue education reform, investing $1.7 billion in curriculum development and implementation. Listen, just be careful. Don't go down the Diane Ravitch and Valerie Strauss hole for more insight into this topic, because you will quickly get jaded like I did. You'll be shocked by Gates beyond the fact that he had a friendship with Epstein. Go down that rabbit hole. The truth is, our education system is failing. We are behind. We are making more and more cutbacks. We have challenges with technology in the education system, and we are years behind. While the public schools are still introducing laptops in every kid's hands, China is introducing AI and how to utilize it to create more mathematicians and spelling bee winners. While in America, we use AI tech to cheat on homework and school essays. Teachers aren't even respected here in this country, and with the ever-growing society of degeneracy and stupidity, why would you want to be a teacher? You don't get paid much and you get your ass whooped.
I've had students cut my hair. I've had students spit on me.
And don't you go off of those standard core curriculums, because you get in trouble for doing that. How dare you teach the way you want to teach?
Why are so many teachers leaving this profession?
The workload is immense. No one came into this profession to be rich. A simple thank you and just showing gratitude that we are educating your children is all we need.
But who cares? We're in an ever-growing society of degeneracy and stupidity, and the online world is completely saturated with people telling you don't have to go to school because you can also be a hustle bro. And because of this, we have sold out on everything in life for convenience and greed. So come to think of it, is China really wrong for taking advantage of us while our own government technically treats us like we're some Amsterdam prostitute? That didn't even make sense. Amsterdam prostitutes are actually treated pretty well. They have health care and benefits. Technically, they're considered business owners. They pay taxes. So yeah, that didn't make sense. I need to work on my jokes.
I've been working in the sex industry for the last 10 years. Prostitution has always been like something that I always was very interested in, and has always been on my list, like, I want to try that out.
China is doing what China does, trying to be the world's superpower, just like we do what we always do, trying to remain the superpower and dominate the world. So what is the solution? That's a good question, and the answer is simple. Allow the wealthy people who are good at one thing in life, let's say like basketball, and have them revolutionize the education system, because if we have learned one thing today, if you have money, you have the power. But just because you have the power doesn't mean you have to know it all.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
This is everything at this moment right
Yes.
now. That's everything.
That's everything.
I will say that.
And today we start in Akron, where people are worried about student performance at the I Promise school, which is supported by LeBron James. Now, I Promise opened in 2018 as part of the Akron Public Schools District, but receives additional funding from the foundation. Last night, there was criticism of the school after state test scores showed none of the now rising 8th graders scored proficient in math.
My beard is looking out of control now. I need to start cleaning up. This is very, very unattractive. All right, let's get this started. 3, 2, 1.